We all have played a particular sport in our life. Let's take an example of soccer. Imagine a soccer ball is on the ground, and as you approach to kick it, you decide to kick it so powerfully that the ball goes in the air, into the sky, into a space, and maybe reach a particular planet like Mars. With that in mind, you kick the ball, and after some time, what did you notice? That the ball came back to the ground. The question is, why did the ball come back to the ground after you kicked it so powerfully? Why did the ball did not go into the space? This question can be answered by Newton's first law. Newton's first law states that if a body is at rest or moving at a constant speed in a straight line, it will remain at rest or continue to move at a constant speed in a straight line unless a force is acted upon it. Well, what does that mean? Explain that better. We can bring that soccer ball again and we put it on the ground. The soccer ball is on the ground, which means that it is not moving. Its velocity is zero. We can also say that that soccer ball is at rest. Newton says that that soccer ball will remain there unless a force is acted on it. So how can a force act on it? Well, we can apply the force by kicking that soccer ball. And once we kick that soccer ball, we see that now the ball has started to move. The ball has acquired speed and velocity. The ball is no more at rest. Thus, Newton's first law is fulfilled. Now imagine the ball is moving, and how a force can be applied to it? Well, that soccer ball, it can hit a player, and once that ball hits the player, the speed and direction of the ball can change. The ball can also go back of the net, and wow, you have scored a marvelous goal of the century. Congratulations. But once the ball has hit at the back of the net, the ball has stopped its motion and it also has changed its direction. Now if there is no player or no goalpost and you kick the ball goes into the air, comes back into the ground in a projectile motion. Projectile motion, it is not a straight line. It is like a cave. We can say it looks like a rainbow. It is like a cave. Now, why do we have projectile motion? It's because of Earth's gravity. When something goes up in the air, if something is thrown from here, it has to come down because the gravity pulls things towards the earth. Now you might be thinking, okay, if I kick the ball and the ball is going on the ground, it is not flying, it is going on the ground, so will gravity act there? The answer is yes, gravity will act there. And with gravity, we will have friction force as well. Now you might be thinking, well, what is friction force? Friction force, like it is generated when something is moving on a surface. Like here, the ball is moving on the ground, and the friction force, it will be generated by the grass, the soil, etc. This friction force, they will provide resistance to the motion of the object. Here, in this case, we can say the soccer ball. So if the soccer ball is moving in the left direction, the friction force, it will act on the right direction. And because of that, the ball will move, and after some time, the speed of the ball will decrease, and eventually the ball will stop. We all have traveled in in a vehicle on the road, and we have noticed that the roads, they are not always straight. We have turns, bends, curves in it. Now, if a driver is driving at a very high speed and a bend is ahead, what the sensible driver will do is that he will decrease the speed of the vehicle so that the vehicle can go around the bend successfully, avoiding any accidents. Now, the force which acts in a circle, in a bend, or in a curve, which tries to keep an object inside the cycle or towards the center of a cycle is known as centripetal force. That's why the driver decreases its speed, the speed of the vehicle, so that the vehicle can be abide or be in tune with the centripetal force. So the vehicle stays inside the bed. The forces we have discussed are gravity, friction force, centripetal force. There are other types of forces, but we will not discuss them here. Like these forces, they fulfill Newton's first law of motion. To recap, what is Newton's first law of motion? Newton's first law states that if a body is at rest, or if it is moving at a constant speed in a straight line, it will remain at rest or continue to move at a constant speed in a straight line unless a force is applied to it. Now, one thing to note here is Newton's first law is also known as law of inertia. So, law of inertia and Newton's first law, they are the same thing.